In this video, I'm at a train station, and that is a train. Oh wow, a very noisy train. I'm not on that train, but if I'm at a train station, it can mean only one thing. Yes, it's a collection caper. This one being a bit different because I'm collecting my own car. I'm off to Birmingham to collect my Citroen GSA, which has been welded up. We're going to take it for waxing and then drive it back to Wales. Just let this announcement clear itself. So at the moment I'm at Wakefield Station, Wakefield Westgate Station in fact. I'm just waiting for my train. It's due in at 16:23, it's 16:06. So effectively the first part of this journey was driving to Wakefield in my Fox, my Reliant Fox. I've left that to undergo some fettling work. And now I'm just waiting for my train to get me down to Birmingham, stop in a hotel, and then we'll go and collect Giselle tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. I've missed that car so very, very much. And hopefully the heater will work well as well. Ah, Voyager. It is the next day. I've just had a really nice night's sleep here in my room. Laptop was busy last night editing the first day of the trip, the Fox trip, so that's all uploaded to the internet, ready to go live today. Today's collecting the GSA day, but you know, from here, it must be said, you know, Birmingham looks pretty glamorous, I think. It's got the metro or tram tracks down there. I'm going to go have a mooch, see if I can find breakfast. I don't fancy paying a tenner for breakfast here. We'll go and see what we can find elsewhere. Well, this is certainly a change of scenery compared to being in rural Wales. I've come up here to what was affectionately known at one time as the Floozy in the Jacuzzi. They appear to be remodelling it. There is the Floozy, she's on the side there in the pink. It used to be a waterfall. And in the mid-90s, me and my friends would often be in said waterfall. It was a particularly hot summer, and they responded by filling in the waterfall and turning it into a garden instead, but they're clearly doing something else now. But we've got Birmingham Town Hall is here. There's a lovely pipe organ in there, and I'm just going to have a quick mooch around because I've not been through the next section since they completely remodeled it. They flattened it entirely, so I'm going to go and have a look at that. So this magnificent structure is a museum and art gallery. It appears to be closed, part of the refurb works. They're obviously getting ready. They're hosting the Commonwealth Games apparently in 2022, even though the Commonwealth isn't really a thing anymore. Nice fountain here, but yeah, this is all new shopping precinct that simply wasn't here the last time I was here. But some lovely architecture in Birmingham. Don't get me wrong, it's not all splendid. If you want a perfect example of grimness, look at Digbeth, where the coach station is. It's still all brutalist concrete hideousness. The odd beautiful old building dotted around, but yeah, mostly grim. But blimey, so much lighting. Let's continue this way and see where we can go. So have a bit of a tour, grab some breakfast, and then I'll be on my way to find Giselle. Here we are, another magnificent open space. We've got the library. That is Birmingham Central Library. It's a fascinating place. It really is. It's just wonderful in there. And next to it we've got the International Convention Centre and Symphony Hall. Symphony Hall is home to a spectacular pipe organ. I do hope one day to actually show you around the place. So you've got a convention centre for holding conventions in, and then Symphony Hall. And I've been to many concerts there. It is a spectacular place. So the Russian National Orchestra performed there. I've seen silent movies with live pipe organ accompaniment. And yeah, I mean, that's Broad Street. Broad Street used to be completely open to traffic, and now it isn't. And I have to say, it's all the better for it. So yeah, there you go, a quick whistle-stop tour of some of the nicer parts of Birmingham, the city in which I grew up. Right, I'm going to go find some breakfast, hop on a train and get myself over to DFTR Automotive, where we shall hopefully find Giselle. And I'm hoping that once I install the grille blind or muff, she will be considerably warmer on the drive home than Foxanne was yesterday. I'm sorry about the sound issues yesterday. I'm not sure what was going on. I think when I had the mic placed directly on my chest, on my hoodie, I think it was just picking up my voice too much. It seemed better when I was wearing the coat. It's always fun to discover these things when you're in the edit suite and can't do anything about it anymore. Oh, that's quite funky. Little ping pong table in a little courtyard. And there's the library extending down beneath the ground. Ooh, subterranean library. Oh, don't mind if I do. So here we are at DFTR Automotive, and Giselle ready to go. There we go. Let her start up. Let her rise up. I'm going to put her on the ramp so we can show you the work that's been done. My taxi to get from the train station was the Mazda 323, which I did a test on some years ago, about 4 years ago now. Let's wait for the front to lift up. Lovely. Alright, let's have a look underneath then. So what began as just replacing the little bits of rot rather escalated. And escalated because of things like this. This is the original floor, so that's what you saw inside the car. And yeah, there's rot all over the place. And once you start picking into it, it just starts pitting and breaking up all over the place. So we've ended up actually replacing both front quarter floors, as they're called, entirely. And it must be said, these panels came from Chevronics. They did need some fettling to fit. This profile here isn't quite right, it doesn't quite match. So we're gonna get in all those sections and absolutely flood it with wax when we go to Krown Rustproofing. And you can see that the strengthening ribs just don't quite match the profile. But still, better than trying to fabricate all this from scratch. It'd be a huge undertaking. It's been stone chipped, two-pack painted, and we will now go and get it all soaked in wax. But yeah, that job did rather escalate from what we were expecting. Let's see if I can grab another panel. So I think this is one of the panels, the outer panels. So to ground it back, and you can kind of see, if I come and stand here, you can see how perforated that is in so many places. So it quickly became apparent that just doing a few localized repairs was not going to work in this case. So we'll get her off the ramp, and then we'll head to Krown Rustproofing for them to work their magic. Because, you know, you've got all these boxes at the back, it looks like the old underseal has started to wear off. All of this just needs absolutely soaking in anti-corrosion wax. So there we go. It ended up being a bit bigger than expected, but hopefully Giselle will now be set fair, even for Welsh conditions. Well, here we are, back in the luxurious splendour of Giselle. Just check the driving position because the seats have all been out. It's been a thorough job, this has. There we go. And we'll head off and find some petrol fairly urgently. So I've got the grille muff fitted, the grille blind is now fitted, so hopefully she'll be nice and warm. Yeah, won't turn the heater on yet because she won't have warmed up yet. And so here we go. Oh, I've missed this car. Oh, hello, we've got the LHM light is on. I don't think I've got any LHM on me, so that's a bit of a shame. Might have to try and find some LHM. Because sadly, she is still leaking a bit from that near side rear suspension. So I think we might have to rebuild that cylinder as well. Ooh, 5-speed gearbox, the luxury. Well, here we are at Halfords. They should have some LHM. We've also got a terrible car park. It is absolutely full of litter. It's go and see if we can find some LHM. Ah, LHM, there we go. Hydraulic brake and levelling fluid. £8.79, it's on special. Well, maybe we'll grab a couple of bottles just in case. So the way we do this is we start the engine. We try and raise the revs a bit. Suspension is on high. Because she's actually got enough to lift herself up. You can see already the disc's way lower than it should be. So she's definitely in need of some LHM. But I can see the bottom of the tin. But she has still got enough to lift herself up. That's encouraging. And then we pour this in until the disc rises up. Yeah, that's lost a lot. Now I believe it's the bottom disc we want between the red marks on this little thing here. And there we go, that's the whole litre gone in, and the disc's about halfway, so I think we're probably all good at that. Yeah, a bit worrying as to where all that's gone. You can just see it coming back in here on the return, so that's an interesting sign. Just going to have a peek under the back. Yeah, she's not dropping any, but needless to say, she's still losing some. That's a little worrisome. Let's drop her back down to normal height. Clunk. Wait for her to drop. There goes the back. There we go. Novelty of that just never wears off. But there we go. She's taken an entire litre of LHM. And we are going to be better than most people here. We're actually going to put this in the bin. Most people, it seems, can't be bothered. Masks, litter all over the place. It's disgusting. There's a bin just there. We've done our duty. Right. Now we've got to go to Krown Rustproofing. So we'll go and head over and do that. Someone really has lost a lot. Look at the state of that. Wow. Not even my car's dropped that much fluid. Well, here we are at Krown Rustproofing with a certain multipler, which is responsible for me having my own multipler moment. Oops, maybe I should get one of those instead. Nissan Highway Star. It's a Serena. So here she is undergoing work. And I'll include some other clips to show what's going on. Rob's got various lances she can use, some longer ones, some shorter ones, get into all the crevices, get really deep down into the inner wings at the back. And yeah, it's all going to help stop this car corroding. So the treatment still costs £272 for a car. It's a bit more if it's a big off-roader or something enormous. But yeah, that's pretty good value. He spent several hours going over the car, and through here is the wax he uses. So it's been sucked out of these containers, and yeah, it's very quite loose stuff. It's not too thick and gloopy, which means it does actually work as a lubricant as well. The air system doing its thing, powering the lance to squirt the wax where it needs to go. So we may have to drill some holes into the doors so we can really get into those door bottoms, but that can be done. Then more wax can be put around the hole, and then a grommet inserted to keep the rot at bay. So this is the painful bit. This is holes being drilled into those beautiful doors, but they won't stay beautiful if they're not protected. And oh, I've been at the dentist. So, for the greater good. And there we go, she's all done. She's covered in waxy overspray, which I don't think I mind, particularly at this time of year. Rob's just gone around and cleaned the windows, because obviously you don't want wax on your windscreen. That's bad, smeary old times. But that's an awful lot of wax has gone into her, and hopefully that will help keep her solid. Shout out to iDriver Classic. And yeah, we will be with iDriver Classic again and Furious Driving at the NEC again in March. That's coming around quick, taking Foxanne. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my paperwork, and that's it, job done. Now I've just got to drive back to Wales. I'll film as much as I can, but it's going to get dark. There we go then. That's the full treatment done for Giselle. She's absolutely covered in wax. And I was worried the last time I came in Betty de Fairmont, and it rained horrifically all the way back. But Rob assures me it won't actually wash the wax off. It's suitable for all weathers. And yeah, it's good to have done. Yeah, it's so nice to be back in Giselle again. Already, with the muff in place, the heater output is really, really good. So it's been an expensive visit to the Midlands for Giselle. I think that's over £1,000, well, comfortably over £1,000 worth of work done, what with the body work. But hopefully that will pay off in the longer term. GS and GSA values are still rising as these cars, you know, move into the 50th and 40th years respectively. In fact, they're both beyond that. So, you know, they're getting on a bit now. Right, picking up on some Fox comments that were coming in. This is a great thing about doing a video series like this. I can actually respond to comments, not quite as they're happening, but there have been a few I feel I need to address. And a lot of people saying I should have packed oil before I left, and yeah, that is true. That was a stupid oversight. I get a bit spoiled because not all my cars drink that much oil, but actually thinking about it, Giselle likes to drop, and I know Foxanne does, and I still didn't carry any oil with me. That's just a stupid oversight. It's just basic fluids. Foxanne is being assessed at the moment up in Wakefield, and the news isn't particularly good. There's all manner of things. I knew there were quite a few things wrong, but more than I thought. Remember the brake was down for the MOT, one of the rear brakes. It's actually because it must have been seeping out of the wheel cylinder, but by the time we made it to Wakefield, there was fluid coming out of the drum quite noticeably. So brake fluid, not the best for stopping. It effectively acts as a lubricant, so that's why that brake was underperforming. Not that we saw any visible leakage during the MOT. If we had, the MOT tester would have failed it. The steering rack, he noticed the bushes were loose. It turns out the or there was play in the bushes rather. It was because actually the rack mounts were finger tight on one side. The water pump, which has been screeching away for a while now, completely destroyed itself. The bearings are utterly gone, and it's pouring coolant out. The fuel filter I fitted last year when I fitted the new fuel tank had somehow split and was leaking petrol, so that's great. And yeah, there's various other leaks I didn't know about. A bit of an engine oil leak, which my tester did mention to me, and it is indeed the timing cover, so that should be a fairly simple fix. Yeah, there's stuff we expected and stuff we definitely didn't expect on Foxanne, and there might well be a bit more going forward. I'm ordering up a load of spares from CHG Classics over in Wisbeach, and they're going to send directly to Adam so he can do the work. And probably, you know, a couple of weeks or so we'll go and get Foxanne back and see how different she feels. But yeah, it's expensive old time at the moment, but that's running old cars for you. They're all biting me at the moment, and we've got MOT season coming up as well. The Camry runs out of MOT on the 7th of February, but I'm really not sure I'm going to be able to get that sorted. I'm still umming and ahhing about whether I risk the steel seal, because I'm curious to try it, but at the same time I don't want to ruin my engine. And it won't actually ruin my engine, but and it might actually do the job, but the response from people is so mixed. Some have had good results, some have definitely not. Yeah, problematic. Hitting the school rush here. This is not pleasant at all. People are actually keeping the roundabout clear though, so that's impressive. Sometimes driving an old car can be an advantage. I think people are a little more tempted to let you out, so that's nice. But a lot of this car's biting me. I mean, to be fair, Foxan till this point has cost me very, very little, and this one is probably worse. I paid what I thought was strong money for this car, believing it to be a bit better than it was. So you could say this was actually a worse purchase than the Camry, because at least with the Camry I knew what I was buying. I also knew I was overpaying for what I was buying, but by that stage I'd fallen in love with it, and therefore hoped that what I suspected might be head gasket failure hopefully wasn't. I was wrong. It appears it is, and maybe even worse, properly a cracked head. Well, this is sheer tedium. I'm just about to make it to the motorway at junction 9, so we've neatly avoided the M6 M5 interchange, which is always grim, but it's still ugh. Why did you move to Wales? Ah yes, roads. Oh, this heat has such warmth. The only problem is you only get heat out the centre vents. The outer vents are fresh air vents. So the heat is all in the middle of the car, which is a little odd. Oh, can hear things sliding around in the boot. Oh, this is all looking fairly congested and miserable. Lovely. So it's going to be just over 3 hours to get home from here. So it's going to be a long slog, but it's already starting to get dark, so I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to document too much of it. But yeah, it's been hugely enjoyable having you along for the ride. In the next one, hopefully we're taking Myrtle for an MOT, and hopefully she'll actually pass it. Keep those fingers crossed. But yeah, there we go. That's how things are shaping up during this very busy week. I've still probably got a good 80 or 90 miles to go, so I shall bid you farewell and see you in a future video. There's no pursuit because you're over there and I'm driving down the motorway at high speed, so you just have to enjoy the view. It's not much of a view, is it? Sorry. Well, I don't know how much you can see, but we are still heading home, and yeah, it's quite dark. This is why I didn't really record this bit, and I've not got the microphone on either because I've just given up. But I just want to show you what it's like. Dark. Dark is what it's like. Now 6:15. Still got about 20 miles to go, I think. This car is a constant reminder that wiper and headlamp technology has come a long way. Past 40 years.